Black for the blacks or Canadian eye holder, Canadian for the blacks.
And I never went after.
Yeah, so
somebody.
This is what it is. The defense attorney is very understated in terms of his.
When they put on the Kandiri brothers, knowing that they were lying,
you know, going over the case, he still wants to be very respectful, right? A little demure.
It's not a game.
You know, but you know, it's a victory. It's a touchdown.
They were willing to put those guys on.
I don't know if y'all can hear. I'll turn it up a little bit.
Detective Antaranian, they both interviewed him, and in their police reports said, "We know you're lying." I can't ask that question when they're on the witness stand of the detective because
I didn't even bring out my emoji pillows. Oh,
so
should bring them out really quickly.
They knew they were lying.
I'll be black. And that reminds me that I want to actually drink some tea.
I'm thankful we're never going to have to litigate the issue.
He's thankful, y'all. He's thankful. So am I.
They kept saying we stipulated to it. We let it in. We agreed to let it in because we saw the quality we were given and the jury couldn't see anything. And then they're saying, well, his first lawyer had it because it was on Tucker Carlson. John Pierce never had that video. We've talked to Fox News. We've talked to Tucker Carlson's show.
Fact check.
The video that was on Tucker Carlson's show started right
Black
when
issues. There you go.
Through the bag.
There you
go. It did
go.
not start with the part that they showed at the beginning. It's a huge difference. That's what they built their whole case on.
That was easy. Case is over, y'all. Case is over.
You don't expect everything in a trial, ever. And that program that they used and the expert from the crime lab specifically says on the company's blog, artificial intelligence enhancements are not to be used for forensic evidence. And they did it. And our research after it, it would have been the subject of a huge motion. We don't have to do it. You know, I don't know that it says. I mean, I personally don't like people carrying AR-15s around. You know, there was so much anger and so much fear in Kenosha on August 25th that people did arm themselves. And
so much fear.
You know, we knew from the beginning that if you read that statute correctly, I know everybody thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
If you read the statute correctly, he was legal in having that firearm. And obviously, once the evidence came in, the judge threw the charge. They threw the curfew. And those were things that the state wanted to, you know, kind of hang their hat on so they could argue he couldn't be there, he couldn't own the gun.
Hello, I'm Black. I just wanted to get some actual tea from my mug. Tell me who you are, tell me where you're watching from. Do you agree with the verdict? Do you disagree with the verdict? Do you want to protest? Do you want to shame those who protest? Do you want to gaslight? Do you want to have misery-loving company?
If Mr. Grosswitz and some of the other people had let Kyle go to the police, there only was one individual dead.
Just typing
they referred to him, and I talked about
my website from my lurch.
Anybody can look up the definition of an active shooter from the FBI, law enforcement.
So he's not an active shooter, even though he shot, what, 3 people, right? 2 are dead?
That's what they used. They wanted to paint him as that. You know, I wish nobody died. I wish I never met Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah,
and I don't mean that because he was a bad client. I just mean...
Yeah, you can say all these things because you won the case. They're just playing it well. Like, I know that they're, like, throwing back broskies. They're, like, going to go party.
I think he does. We've talked about it.
I mean, whatever.
There's been so much talk about whether the tears were...
real?
Genuine.
I just talked about it.
All I can say is, when we prepared Kyle and we worked on his testimony, there were things we couldn't talk about in my office because it got too emotional and he couldn't handle it.
Aww.
He's in, you know, counseling for PTSD.
PTSD.
So he doesn't sleep at night.
Who's paying for that? State?
Remorse, I think, manifests itself some other ways. I don't think he can ever walk out here and say that because of the situation. But Kyle Rittenhouse, and I know what he feels.
That's nice.
He has to get on with his life the best he can.
Yeah, he's
I
free.
think eventually some anonymity will come back to it.
No.
I don't think he'll continue to live in this area. I think it's too dangerous. He's had 24-hour security since this happened.
Tell me who you are, where you're watching
the
from.
judge
I'm
protected his
cracking up at all of this.
Everybody in this case, and when I say that, I mean prosecution, defense.
Victory
To me,
lap.
it's scary how many death threats we've had.
Mm.
You know, I was answering my phone on the way back
Shameful
from court in
death threats.
Kenosha. My office isn't that far.
Just that.
After the third death threat, I quit answering the phone.
Yeah. Quit answering the phone. It's not fair.
He had as much business being there as any of the demonstrators or the rioters.
They're going to justify why
That's all I can say. I mean, there's going to be
he
people
traveled across
who will
state
never agree with
lines.
that statement. But, you know, if we all would just mind our own business a little bit, I think we'd all be better off.
But not Kyle. Kyle didn't need to mind his
It's a hard
business. He needed
lesson to learn,
to travel there. Yeah, but Kyle.
It could be. He was asked to be there.
He was
He
asked to
wanted
be
to
there.
help the community.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the narrative that the state went with. He shouldn't have been there. He was asked to be there by Nick and Dominic.
There you go.
And the Kandiri brothers wanted security.
There you go.
And, you know, I'm not trying to blame anyone. I wish he'd never been separated from Ryan Balch. And,
and then just ran around with a huge gun, loaded, and shot people.
I don't believe he does. I believe you know, if you had to do it all over again and you said same thing is going to happen and life is going to be put in a living hell for a year and you're going to not know if you're going to be a free man, he would say, I wouldn't go. But
yeah, that would be the thing to do.
We can't undo time.
But his mother drove him there with a fully loaded gun. Who does that? Tell me who you are, where you're watching from, and what your thoughts are on the verdict.
And I'm not laughing at President Biden. What I'm laughing at is a friend of mine who's a lawyer said, he goes, and him and I had done a big case together 7-8 years ago. And he said, do you think this Rittenhouse is going to be bigger than that case? And I said, you know, I do. And he said, why do you say that? And I said, I've never had a case, and I don't think I ever will, where within 2 days or 3 days of one another, you know, the president and the presidential candidate comment on it. And both of them had such different beliefs.
Takes on it.
President Biden said some things that I think are so incorrect.
Yeah.
The jury's not a white supremacist. I'm
Right.
glad that he at least respects the jury verdict. And if the government had any information regarding his cell phone or anything, that he'd been to any of those websites or been online doing that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
it would have been introduced in evidence. It wasn't. We were the individuals who released his cell phone, which couldn't be cracked by the FBI because we had nothing to hide.
That's right. Nothing to hide. Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm doing reruns. What's that? I'm a criminal defense attorney. I don't do civil stuff.
So he's going to be destroyed in a civil suit. Maybe. Ferris Bueller.
Every case is different, and every
Yep.
case
And we want
has surprises.
Yep.
You know, I learned I could wait 24 hours for a verdict.
There you go. He won.
I suspect there will be a fight over that. You know, John Pierce is the person who posted the bond. All of that money was raised on behalf of Kyle. Lynn Wood and Fight Back say that they're entitled to it. There was, and when I'm using round numbers, but there was $500,000, I think, that came directly from Wendy Rittenhouse from money she had raised. So there's going to be a fight over that, and I'm just thankful that there will be a fight over that.
Yeah, because he's out.
If he had lost, wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
Who wants
It's a
to be a
good
nurse?
problem to have.
What would you say your biggest takeaway is from this 25-plus hour jury deliberation? What do you think that says?
need to be more patient.
There you go.
Getting rid of the first two lawyers. And, you know, that might be a smart alecky comment, but I mean that. And I got my best friend, Corey, to join,
Yeah.
who I trust.
Yeah.
And to be able to work with somebody who you don't have to check their work. You don't worry about what they're going to be doing. You give them a project and it's done as good or better as you do yourself.
Right.
It's priceless.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of commentary on the prosecutor's performance in this case. What would you say being up there with him every day?
Ooh, fight.
You know,
Instigate.
You must have got here a little bit late.
Yeah. Shame this reporter. Stupid
I've
question.
known Tom Binger for a long time.
Long
I
time.
knew him when he was a civil lawyer.
He lost.
I'm disappointed with some of the things he did.
Yeah.
And I've said why.
Yeah.
Putting on the Kandiri brothers when you know they're lying.
Yeah.
Changing your prosecution, going with provocation.
Yeah.
After you say that my client chased him down and shot him in the back.
Yeah.
Calling him an active shooter when he's not.
He's not.
You know, justice is done when the truth is reached, and I don't know that it's set up to do that.
Yeah.
But a prosecutor is supposed to seek the truth.
That's right.
It's not about winning, and this case became about winning, and that's probably why it got so personal.
Yeah.
How about the judge? What do you say about how the
Spoken from a man who got a teen off
I've never
for killing two
seen
people.
so much made of so little.
Yeah.
And that's not to pick on you guys or anything like that, but I've tried cases as a prosecutor 100 years ago in front of Judge Schrader.
I've
tried cases as a defense lawyer, and him and I butted heads as a defense lawyer.
Yeah.
Judge Schrader gives you a fair trial as a defendant. You don't want him to sentence your client, okay?
He's a good judge.
But in this case, we were looking for a fair trial, and if we lost, we knew what was going to happen. So it wouldn't have mattered whether it was that judge or some other judge. He's getting life in prison. So I'd rather have a fair trial. I thought he gave us a fair trial. You know, everybody got all crazy about the Tumblr. Who cares? That has nothing to do with this. I mean, I've seen the Tumblr used before. I've seen clerks pull things out and suspicious things happen. Kyle pulled it out. And I'll be real honest. We had every juror scored
really
on
honest.
a sheet, and we were devastated when those 3 of the 6 jurors were separated from the panel.
Yeah.
We thought they were 3 of our strongest jurors.
Yeah.
And Kyle pulled their names. So I think it's a good system. You know, I got a trial in front of them. You know, big case, and maybe in that one I'll think he's unfair, but he's a fair judge.
He also said something about, like, in the future, the players are rethinking the possibility of live coverage to this extent. Given what you guys have gone through, you know, you mentioned that you guys went through a lot, there were threats made to you. What do you think that should be going forward, setting the precedent?
All the threats.
I don't know about that. You know, I think
It's water under the bridge. He's free.
I think that I've never done a case that was televised gavel to gavel. I
Yeah.
had cases that have had media coverage.
Yeah.
I was kind of, I knew this case was big. I had no idea it was going to be this big.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've gotten
He's
calls
just a
from
kid.
people I haven't seen in 25 years.
Calling you.
It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
And I'll never be able to figure out exactly what it is.
It's
that
fucking
caused me
racism.
to
That's
do
what it is. Hello.
I don't think it made the attorneys act different. I don't think it made the judge act different. I suspect when everything cools down, if there was another big case in front of Judge Schrader, he'd let the cameras in.
Mark, would Kyle say anything to the judge, having them know, or would you let that out?
You know,
We don't know that there'll be trouble, but you know, there's people gathering that apparently left or more than people showing up. Do you think anything he might say could make things go better?
I don't. The people who are going to end up causing trouble,
Yeah.
they don't want to hear from Kyle Rittenhouse.
No, they don't.
It's, you know, what, remain calm? You know,
It's a joke.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I don't think it's that kind of case. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, when you want to talk about implications and precedent and things like that,
Yeah.
is it ever going to happen again?
Huh?
You know, is there ever going to be just a total unrest in Kenosha or some other city,
Yeah.
and that's going to happen?
No.
You know, I just don't see that. There was a case about self-defense, the
Yeah.
right to protect oneself
That's right.
from,
Marauding.
you know, Mr. Rosenbaum.
Yeah.
Don't want to speak ill of the dead, but he wasn't a nice person, and
Hey.
everybody knows why.
Shameful.
And
Not
a lot
a
of
nice
that didn't
person.
come in front of the jury. So
And Kyle didn't know how
I don't
good of
know
a
if there's
person or
any
bad of a
fraud
person he was
implications.
when
I don't
he
wanna
shot
make
him
it bigger
either.
than it is.
A couple politicians in Wisconsin use the word vigilante to refer to your client since the verdict came down. How do you react to that?
Maybe they should have watched the trial.
Yeah.
Thank you to you, said that after the verdict was read. Can you share any more about general reaction from him or his family in that moment?
You know, it's one of those things that anything that's said at this time is kind of meaningless. We have to take it in, reflect on it, and you know, what's he thanking me for? And I don't mean that it's insincere, but it takes a while to process what happened today. I haven't processed it.
Yeah.
I don't think I can't answer that question. If I had to guess, and it would be a guess, I don't think they'll stay in Wisconsin. I got a trial in a week. I'm going to take a couple of days off and go to the Badger game tomorrow,
Thanks, Bruce.
which I've missed. Hopefully, I've missed a couple of Badger games because of this trial, and I'm very much. We were afraid we weren't going to get to go because they were going to have them deliberate on Saturday, and I want to see them beat Nebraska.
Yeah. Let's talk about sports. It's a great day. White people can get away with murder. Right, Bruce? Great day for that,
I
right?
don't believe that.
That a teenager can be driven across state lines by his mother
there
with a
was
fully
the
loaded
question,
gun
I
to
think-
shoot other people.
I said this to some people yesterday.
That's a great day
when
for
they
you,
asked
right,
to
Bruce?
Call off and
Love
call
you
off.
black.
You could see the tenseness in those people,
Cheers.
the jurors. At least I could, or I sensed it, who were entering that room, and you know, if they wanted to quit early because I think they were tense, and if there was some early verdict and they were playing all of us for fools, they're great actors and actresses. I don't think that was the case.
Yeah.
What do you think about the mother thing?
I believe so. I have clients from 30 years ago I still talk to. I get one of my oldest favorite clients. He moved out of Racine, moved to Minneapolis. He texted me congratulations. I talk to him once a month. I try to stay in touch with clients who want to stay in touch with me. I like to see him do well, and I hope that Kyle does.
Do you think that they'll keep a low profile?
I hope so.
Yeah.
What do you think the amount of time that the jury took to do this says about how they handled it?
They took it very seriously. As I said, it's the longest jury I've ever had out. Wow. Can I go home?
Anything else we haven't asked you?
Mark, do you think they'll ever talk?
Probably. I'm not in charge of this media.
Oh boy.
Okay, we've been listening there to Kyle Rittenhouse's defense attorney, Mark Richards, basically saying that he's still processing everything that happened. And he just gave us a
There you
window
go.
into what his thinking was during the trial and during deliberations, which he described those 25 hours plus as hell for him and Kyle Rittenhouse and their team. Let's bring back in our legal experts. We have Ellie Honig, Alan Turkheimer, and Eric Guster. Ellie, that was very interesting. He said that he had no choice but to put Kyle Rittenhouse on the witness stand. I mean, all of us had debated
Yeah,
beforehand
all
about
his little
where
white
we see
tears.
Kyle Rittenhouse on the witness stand.
Fake
Obviously,
crocodile tears.
and he
Yeah.
agreed that he had no choice but to do
Weaponize
that.
that.
Not as a matter of law, but
Right.
yes, I think as a
Stir up
matter
the
of
fears.
strategy,
Who
you
are
have
these
no choice.
people?
You have to put your
Marching
client
the
on the
streets
stand
and
if you're
shit.
claiming
Black Lives Matter. Shoot 'em.
self-defense. And it was interesting to hear the defense lawyer say they had 2 mock juries. Now we can debate the value of mock juries, but he said they did much better from the defense standpoint when they put their client on the stand. And Kyle
Well,
Rittenhouse ultimately on the stand.
Yeah,
the
because Derek
prosecution
Chauvin
did
never
not
went on
do
the
much to
stand.
undermine him. they pointed out some sort of minor inconsistencies and things he said on the night of and said later, but nothing that undermined sort of the core defense argument, which was he was attacked. Every time he shot, he was attacked, whether with a gun by Gage Grosskutz, a skateboard by Anthony Huber, hands and feet by Jump Kick
So
Man
he killed them?
Joseph Rosenbaum. And that's a tough thing when you're talking about
Why
a
did you go there?
self-defense claim.
Why did
I
you
wanna
need
do
to be there?
because
It's
you
not
know
even your
jurors,
neighborhood.
you're
This
jury
makes no
consultant, and you have
sense.
a lot of information. Well,
You go to
have
someplace
some
you don't
information,
live
based upon a pool
with a fully
reporter,
loaded
of
gun,
what the
knowing
jury's
that there's
response
danger.
was through some of this, and I'll
Like,
just read it
it's
to you.
bizarre.
They looked fatigued. The pool reporter says today, Friday afternoon. Some of them looked fatigued in the jury box. Some of them looked uneasy. Some of them had their hands on their chins. They were rubbing their eyes. Others appeared ill at ease, shifting in their chairs, folding their arms across their chests. Given that, and given that you
Jordan,
know
it's
25
both.
plus
It's
hours
because
of deliberation,
there are
what
black
do you-
people who
what
are
do you
shot and
divine
killed
about what
who
we
don't
know
even
about
have
the jury's
guns.
thought process?
and then they're put trumped up charges. So if you Google Eric Gardner, the NYPD, there's a detective that posthumously, after Eric Gardner was dead, they then filed that Eric Gardner sold 10,000 cigarettes and put the felony charge on him after he was already dead.
Start off and they have an idea, they have a
So
predetermined
you have
outcome
black
in their mind,
people
how they
who
want the result to
aren't
be,
doing
and
anything
then
wrong,
they work backwards
right?
and back into a verdict.
and trumped up
I don't think that
charges,
happened
death
here at all. I think that
penalty,
the jury came
life
in
in
and they
prison,
had
and then you have this white boy,
needs one more exemption, and then they went at it. They argued with each other.
fully
They
loaded gun,
certainly
huge gun,
meticulously
and just
looked at the
shoots
law
people
and went over
and
the verdict
kills
form and
people.
tried
This is
really hard to
bizarre.
get it
Why does
right.
he not go to jail for
And
this?
As has been said,
You know, and the
prosecution
law
had a
is
really
used in a
tough
manipulative
burden.
way
There might be some
to
jurors
then.
on the jury who felt that Kyle Rittenhouse
It's bizarre.
maybe engaged in some
So
wrongdoing and
yes,
shouldn't have
because
been there.
if a black person did the same
They
thing,
looked at the letter of
I'm
the
gonna drive
law,
across.
ultimately the
I'm gonna drive down this
hold them to
place
the
where
verdict
there's
that they
already a
showed
riot or
everybody
something
approval.
happening. I'm gonna look fully
Eric,
load my
with your
gun and I'm
celebration,
just
I
gonna
need
be
you to
there
just
to
stand by
protect
a little longer.
and then
We wanna
shoot
reset for all of our
a few
viewers who are
people.
just
Like
joining
he'd
us.
be in jail.
It is a little
Period.
past the
Or
top of the
dead.
hour. I'm Allison Campbell.
Like Kyle is
I'm following the
alive.
breaking news
There's
out of
black people
Kenosha,
without.
Wisconsin.
Oh,
A
there you
jury
go.
has acquitted
Jordan's
Kyle
off, and
Rittenhouse
so is
on
Bruce.
all
Oh, my
counts.
two white dicks.
Rittenhouse,
Darn.
who is 17 years
Darn.
old, and the shot
I
two
lost.
and wounded a third with
Some
an
big
AR-style
penis.
rifle
Damn.
that he brought to
Here I go
racial
again.
justice
Oh,
protests in
are
August
you
of
back?
2020.
Is it Bruce and Jordan?
You
They're
saw
both
there
back?
him reacting
Do you two
to
know each
hearing
other?
the not guilty verdicts. He collapsed
I was in the middle of
down,
making
under
sense.
the desk and then had to sit down. He did take the stand during this trial. He sobbed. He explained why he thought he was acting
But,
in self-defense.
I mean,
And then you see his emotional reaction when the
Yeah.
verdict was read.
The first count of the information, Joseph Rosenbaum, you the jury find the
well,
defendant
you think it's not
Kyle
applied
H.
equally.
Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the second count
You
of
think
the
it's not applied
information,
equally?
Richard McGinnis,
I mean, the
you the
law
jury
has
find
been
the defendant Kyle H.
applied
Rittenhouse not
unequally to
guilty.
black people for hundreds
As
of
to the
years.
third count
When
of
I
the
just posted
information,
on my
unknown
Instagram,
male,
I talked
you
about
the
the
jury
Dred
find
Scott
the defendant
case,
Kyle H. Rittenhouse not
that
guilty.
the law is not
As
bound
to the fourth count
to
of the information,
respect
Anthony
black
Huber,
people. You know,
you
that
the
was
jury
Tanny,
find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not
to black
guilty.
defendants. Oh, okay.
As to the fifth
Well, then,
count
yeah.
of the information,
So
H.
that's what this
Rutherford,
is.
you the jury find
Got
the
it.
defendant
Making
Kyle
sure,
H.
because I think
Kyle
Bruce
H. Rittenhouse not guilty.
is fucking around.
Members of the jury, are these your unanimous verdicts?
BLM is a
Is
terrorist
there anyone who does not agree with the verdicts as read?
So why, I mean, like,
We wish the jury poll.
and that's what I mean by like, there's white people that like have nothing else to do with their time. That's
Rittenhouse's
like,
lead attorney just
like,
spoke,
go sort your
explaining his
socks.
client's reaction.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Kyle
go figure out how to fix the
not
supply
guilty.
chain. Go run down
On his
there
way
and
home,
get the
he wants
packages to
get
people's
on with his
homes
life.
instead of defending this idiot. You know.
He has
So if you make sense, Jordan, thank you, because
a huge
Bruce
sense of
is
relief
shits
for
and
what
giggles.
the jury did to him today. He wishes none of this would have ever happened.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
We have a team of reporters on the ground in Kenosha, and we want to go out to Shimon Prokupez, who has been watching this case every day. Shimon, the response.
Ooh.
Right, so we're just getting in some new information, Allison. I want to tell you off the top from the prosecutor in
So,
this case.
Is a win for all defendants as long as the law is applied fairly and equally to all. So you, Jordan,
these two guys really fought
based on your
against
strict
each other.
interpretation of the sacred law,
Attacks,
you think
Mark
that
Richards, defense
Kyle,
attorney, lobbing many of those personal
thank you,
attacks
Johanna.
during the closing
You
arguments,
think
saying that
Kyle should
prosecutors
have been
rushed this case.
It,
That it
like
was
the
political,
jury
that they
was
wanted
right,
to
like
bring this case
Kyle
for
should be
political
off.
reasons. The prosecutor just now issuing a
I mean, just let
statement
me
saying
know.
that they
Excuse
are
me, I
disappointed with
burped.
the
I'm
verdict,
drinking
but that
tea.
it must be respected. They say that they are
You know,
grateful
this is the
to
thing
the
to me
members
with the
of the jury
law
for their
and what the
diligent
law even
and thoughtful
actually is.
deliberations.
Like,
The
to me, I'm
Kenosha
just like,
community has endured much over the past 15
you
months.
know, the law
and
and
yet
logic
we
are two
remain
different
resilient
things. The
and
law
strong.
and language
We
are two
ask that
different
members
things,
of our
right?
community
There's
continue
there's
to
language,
express
there's
their
logic,
opinions
and then
feelings
there's this
about
thing
this
called
verdict
law
in a
that no one
civil
else
and
understands
peaceful
but
manner.
lawyers.
And so there you go. You have
And
another
then
official here,
what
obviously,
could, according
urging
to everyone else,
peace
look like
and
common
and so far
sense,
that's
the
exactly
law,
what we're seeing out here.
which
But
no one else can understand,
these two,
goes in there and
what
goes,
the
threads,
defense attorney, Mark
pulls out
Richter,
this one
also
thread,
issued today,
self-defense, pulls
another
out whatever
of
goddamn
Kyle
thread is,
Rittenhouse,
and everybody else is
Rittenhouse
like, this makes no
attorneys,
sense, this makes no sense
Corey
with the
Trump,
law,
the
and then
who
we have to
did
go, okay,
one of the probably most
it's
important
bizarre
cross-examinations at this
you know?
trial was against one of the shooting victims.
And I'll write that down.
Gross Courts
The
gave
law, logic, and
Gross
language.
Courts when he
The
got
law
into
was
the
written by
court that he
colonizers. I
pointed
mean,
a
yeah, I
gun
feel like
at Kyle Rittenhouse,
like,
and then
the way
Rittenhouse
the law,
opened fire. That was a key
the way
part of this
laws
case. These two words, all of
are
them really,
are the
prosecutors and
opposite of what
defense,
they
really
claim to be,
went at it,
right? Because the law
for
for
much of the
how
case,
many years,
especially during
right?
the
Japanese
closing
internment,
arguments. And you heard Mark Richards there when he was talking.
what they did to
saying
the
how this
Chinese with the
case,
Chinese
for the
Immigration
prosecutors,
Act.
he felt was
These
about
things were
winning. He
illegal.
was very angry about
So
how they
I kind of look at like the
proceeded in this
law
case.
and
This was
people
not
like, oh my
about
God, and I'm just
truth.
like, well, no.
So that's
Like,
how
don't
he
conflate
feels.
the law with
That's saying
actual
that they should not have brought
justice.
this case. And they
The
made it
law
very
is this
clear
thing over
during the
here
case when they were
that
really
sometimes
just
there's justice,
attacking
but a lot of
the
times it's
prosecution
not. But
personally.
we all
Here
sit
we
there and go,
have
oh my goodness,
the
oh my goodness, oh my
prosecutor
goodness.
responding
It's
saying
like,
that they respect the
no.
verdict and that they urge
You know?
people to be peaceful and calm.
Yeah, Sharon, I think that
Yes.
is so important. I
Thank
mean,
you,
that's
Jordan.
losing with grace.
And that to
They
me
say
is a
we're
problem with
disappointed, but we
the law.
respect it. The verdict must be respected, and we thank the jurors. I mean,
And this must be
you know, they could say
respected. We
different
must
things, but
kowtow to
they're
it.
going towards bringing
Blind
down the
allegiance.
temperature
To me, it's
outside of the
bizarre. It's just
courthouse
like,
and asking people
whatever.
to remain peaceful.
And that's why we have to make
you know, that's
the
very
law
valuable.
reflect our notions of, and it doesn't.
No,
Right?
it
And then we have these
certainly is.
media
And look, the temperature
spectacles,
here, there was a lot of concern over what might happen
you know,
if there was
and
either way.
it's a spectacle because it's a crapshoot. It's Russian roulette. It's like, well, maybe. We look at it every single time when we already know the equation. Anything having to do with blackness and whiteness, it's going to be this maybe not, maybe not.
Different groups would gather.
That's what we're looking at. And so when the defense attorney was just like, I don't know, this is going to be this big deal. It's like, how did you not, like, you know, bullshit, you know? It's like,
people to get onto the steps of the courthouse.
You know, and then afterwards, and I'll take your comment, Johanna and Jordan, then,
voice their opinion, say whatever they want to say.
sorry, I was just looking at some foolishness on my phone. And then afterwards, people were getting into heated debates right outside the courtroom, like people who were like, free Kyle! And clearly people who, you know, are like, yo, this is injustice. It was like, she was like, full of shit. Like, that was live on CNN.
We didn't really get an inside look into
So, let me take your comments. I'm so sick of the twisted law, which rarely brings justice to anyone. We can't ignore the law because we disagree with it. That's when we need to pay the most attention to it. I like you, Jordan. You're a blessing. And can't pick and choose when to follow the law or not. A black defendant should be treated to some right of self-defendants as the same rights. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
During the testimony of Kyle Rittenhouse, where they felt that the jury was
yes.
sympathetic.
Welcome to reality, black to normal, as I like to say.
Testified, that was an important moment, and probably something that the defense attorneys obviously are very happy.
Whatever. I mean, I'm just gonna put my link here because I sell mugs to support my social justice work for the blacks. 1619. I tried to do it before, for some reason it glitched. I'm just like, God, internet. Let this black woman get paid.
Yeah, I think when we first
What is
heard the first
SSDD?
not
Don't know what that
guilty,
is.
in the case, you could hear Kyle Rittenhouse's mother gasp audibly. And then as each of them, all five, at the very end, when all five were read out, Kyle Rittenhouse himself realized that he was a free man, and he sort of collapsed onto the table. His attorney, one of his attorneys,
Same shit, different
up,
day. Yes,
helping
Johanna.
him to regain,
Yes.
his his composure. But it was a very emotional time, not just for the Rittenhouses, but also for those whose family members were shot and killed by Kyle Rittenhouse or injured.
What did I say before? I said the
Kyle
law,
Rittenhouse. And,
language, and
we
logic.
sat in the courtroom,
3 different things.
Everyone is very quiet. The jury seemed a little fatigued.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube here.
Read out. In this particular courtroom, it was the clerk that read out.
Welcome. Love you all black. You know, when it comes to Kyle Rittenhouse.
Some other states. And so it was up to the clerk to
That was
make
easy.
sure that she got all the details right.
All counts.
She did. The jury
All counts.
did their service. The judge has been very thankful for the jury. And
The judge.
the
judge.
courts do not treat juries well. And that they should be treated better. This jury did its job, the judge said, and you know, everyone stood up as the jury came in and stood up as the jury left.
There you go.
And then
It's just a lot of pomp and
started coming out, and those
It's really
Anthony
sad.
Cooper's aunt has been in court this whole time throughout this trial, and one of his other family members, his parents, however, Anthony Cooper,
Finger
I remind you, is
made by
the
skin
second
crawl
person
as a
who was
lawyer.
shot and killed,
How many
that night
defendants,
on
white and
August
black,
25th.
has he railroaded?
By Kyle
How many other
Rittenhouse. And
fingers are
his
there?
parents said that they
Ooh.
were not able to
Jordan,
attend because they simply
can we
could
stay
not
in touch,
sit there
Jordan?
and watch the video of their son
Can you
being
email me,
killed
Jordan?
over and over again.
I like you, Jordan.
They
You're
also
smart
sent
because
out
I'm starting
statement
to
saying,
expand
yes,
my
that they are
content
heartbroken and angry, that
to
Kyle
do
Rittenhouse
blogs
was
as well.
acquitted
So I
in
have
his
a
criminal
whole
trial for what they call the murder of their son.
what I call my lexicon, like ways to talk about black issues. So the Blackulator, right? Calculating 400 plus years of racial oppression. Johanna knows about all of this. And thank you so much, Johanna, for tuning in. Blackache, right? The perpetuation of black people being in pain with no solution in sight. There's this one here. This is the original Black Issues. Sometimes solutions, sometimes. And speaking of solutions, sometimes we do. Sometimes there is a solution. Sometimes there is a solution. Yeah, Jordan, you're dope. You know what I'm saying? So this is the way I write. I actually posted something on Instagram, blurgent, black and urgent. Whoop, whoop, literally, blurgent, right? This is a good one. What is a blurgent, black and urgent issue, right? You know, we've been woke since 1619. So yeah, they're really fun. But I also use them in the way that I write, the way that I frame issues to talk about. So I'm starting what is called the For the Blacks Buyer Guide. So it's going to amplify Black-owned businesses, but also holding mainstream corporations accountable for all the pledges that they did and didn't do post George Floyd. So I've been doing all this research. So $50 billion was pledged for the Blacks, right, after George Floyd, $50 billion. And out of that, I know it's an insane number, only $250 million has actually been donated. So, you know, these are the games that are being played in terms of branding, like this is who we are, yes. And then it's like, but you're not actually doing it, right? So, you know, just in terms of being blurgent, right? These companies aren't being blurgent, but I am. So I'm starting to develop a lot more content around that. Been doing a lot of research in the past few days. It's going to be launching Monday. I actually need to hop off since I have to be in a meeting to talk about it. But yeah, Jordan. So does it not seem like corporate America and politicians have hijacked civil rights and given only superficial support? Jordan, me like you. Yes, right. They're just in it for the branding. They're in it for the woke washing, is what I call it. They're in it to say, look at me, blah blah blah. Oh my goodness, and not actually doing what needs to be done. It's not proportionate to the issues, right? Like, oh, you know, our buildings are crumbling, the schools are crumbling, healthcare, people don't have access. But you know, we're not actually going to give this money that we said we're going to give. How about that? We're not. We're just, I don't know, like time flies, or I don't know, but we did a company party, and I don't know, it's the second quarter, the fourth quarter, you know, stock market, some investors, I don't know, we just didn't give the money. So, you know, that to me is an issue. Woke washing, yeah, you act like you care, and you don't. So I'm really excited, and that's for you too. Thank you, Jordan, Johanna, both of you. You know what I'm saying? This is what I do. I think I can put my link here to my Instagram, Jordan. I like you, Jordan. You get this. And because I just wrote about Dred Scott and what the Dred Scott case has to do with, you know, the way this Rittenhouse case came out. But like again, you're an actual lawyer, right? Like I used to be the director of history for a high school, for a middle school, you know. So I look at it from a history lens, but you know, if you want to, let's do something. I mean, my blog is gonna go live. It's gonna get some media. So get in now. I know I only have like one person, which is you, amazingly watching me, but things are happening. Things are happening. Trying to understand and listen. Oh yeah, great. So paste. I love, you know, Apple does not pay taxes, but Apple is really good that I can cut and paste a link from my phone and it goes straight to the iPad without like texting it to myself or something. So there you go. So that's the link of what I just wrote. So yeah, take a look, and if you're inspired, you're great, Jordan. If you're inspired, please do so. I'm just looking at this one email. Oh, okay. Deadline is coming up. Okay, so I got some stuff to do here, but yeah, I mean, pretty much. I've been doing this for quite some time. Activist. Used to be an educator. I do diversity consulting. A lot of social justice work, as you can see. And I'm really, really keen on, you know, justice, and really, really keen on the, issues, right? And how can we get to some, solutions, issues, solutions, solutions, issues, solutions, issues, solutions, right? And I'm constantly drinking cocoa out of them. Stay calm. So yeah, I'm gonna have to hop off because I need to get to work with all these things that I'm doing. But Jordan, are you on Clubhouse as well? Because if so, you'll see on my Instagram, I'm on Clubhouse a lot talking about these issues, like a lot. You are the best, Jordan. You made my day. And like, how did you even find me? Like the hashtag Kyle Rittenhouse. Like, how did you even come across my, you know? It looks like I'm in Miami, right? Like there's a palm tree, the doors and the windows, but I'm actually in Harlem. Hilariously and ironically, it's quite cold actually. I'm sure my nose is like running, because I have a window open because I just wanted some fresh air. But yeah, so Jordan, Texas, let's look for line trees about Kyle Rittenhouse. Got it. Thanks. Yeah. So you're in Texas, Jordan, because I am in Harlem. In New York, but it is such a pleasure meeting you. So please, 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 my email is literally blackish.issues@gmail.com. So you're already, you know, you're already in. You clearly have a Gmail account because you're watching YouTube, or maybe not. But yeah, blackish.issues@gmail.com. That's it. Yeah, let's connect. Let's do some content. I always need lawyers. You know, I need that lens. There's no lenses in these. I need a lens to look at the law. And you're great. Yeah, and you're catching me like really, really like subdued. Like there's like levels to my shit. Like I'm an actor, I do satire, comedy, I do crazy over the top avant-garde characters. I have emoji pillows, I have a poop emoji. There's like way more. You're getting me like the most like subdued right now. So that's actually quite funny, that you're getting the very like, you know, the most you're getting right now is like glasses with no lenses. You're not getting my voice, my character voices. You're not me doing Elmo. I do a lot. So thank you so much, Jordan. It's not magic as much as we try to make it seem that way. Aww. So thank you so much. Thank you. You've made my day. So please reach out, stay in contact with me. I'm really excited to dive deep into your thoughts about the law and justice because I need that lens. And you an amazing day. Woo! For the Blacks. So thank you. Infinite gratitude to you, Jordan. And we'll talk soon. Okay, bye.